We are tonight's entertainment.
You can't handle the truth.
The fire rises.
Pizza time.
You're a wizard, Harry.
So it begins.
You know how much I sacrifice?
You think that's air you're breathing?
Groovy.
I don't have friends. I got family.
We are Sex People! 1, 2, 3, 4!
Craft services.
Hey, Trent.
Hi, Parth. I would say you're looking well, but your background shows you're in the cold depths of space.
You seem to be doing well, though.
I'm on a nice Hawaiian beach or something. We're playing with our Zoom backgrounds to try to lighten the mood. But we had a cool interview last night that we won't reveal yet. And then we were like, let's rally after. Here, I'll read our text. You said, do you think we can squeeze an intro in 30 minutes? Take a break, regroup, go to sleep. And I said, sure, ... I was going to say no, but I'm too tired to fight. And then you said, we're so in sync. Then 30 minutes pass. You say, ready? In call? ? I said, sorry. I was talking to my mom. And you said, classic Tracy. That's my mom. And then I said, I don't know, man. Can we do this tomorrow? And Parth, I was very surprised you didn't put up more of a fight. But you said we could. And here we are, tomorrow, now.
And what have you eaten tomorrow, now, today, actually?
I'm just sipping on a cup of coffee. What are you working on over there, up in space?
I technically haven't had any food yet, but I have ingested something in my body. So it's getting nice out. We're an hour ahead now, and it's springtime almost.
Wait, can I guess? Is it an allergy pill?
With that comes pollen. And I actually hadn't been having symptoms, but I always forget that there's going to be pollen, and then I never have allergy medication. So in an effort to avoid that, I purchased some generic allergy medication from Walgreens in advance and looked at the pollen count for the next 5 days, and I saw that it was a low pollen count on Monday, but it was going to be a moderate pollen count yesterday and today. So every morning at 9 a.m., I've been taking my pill.
Does it make your situation better?
I mean, I didn't have any problems yesterday, and I did go outside yesterday, and today we're about to spend the whole day outside, so we'll see.
Yeah, Parth. Explain to the kids at home why the two of us are about to, converge from, I'm in Hawaii, you're in space, but we're about to meet in Jersey City, New Jersey.
Where dreams come true.
Yeah, where dreams come true. Or where nightmares are born, depending on who you ask.
Well, love and hate, they're sort of the same, and so are dreams and nightmares, you know what I mean?
Yeah, quickly, Parth and I are working a one-day gig setting up 1,500 drones.
Just the two of us.
To fly up in the sky. Usually it's 200 drones, but I just told my dad it's 1,500, and he was like, oh, shit.
Well, every time I've done this once before, and every time I've done it, Trent has told me, yeah, it'll probably be a 3 to 11 call, or that'll probably be the time that we work. And I'm like, okay, 8 hours doing that, that's not a problem at all. And then both.
Let's not blame me.
Well, no, I'm not blaming you, but it's. I'm expecting one thing, and then I get the call time, and it's last time it was 11 o'clock a.m. and this time it's 12:30 p.m. The drones are not flying until 10:30, which means we ain't getting out of there until 12.
Yeah, the drones don't fly until it's dark. But they still make us show up, very early in the day, and despite the fact that you spend about 70% of the day chilling, and at the last one, we were hiding in our car, Parth still holds deep anger that the process is not more efficient and streamlined, and that we're not...
Because it could be. Why are we
Because we could show up 6 hours later and just sort of be working the whole time, and that would be the day, but instead...
We could have
there's a lot of cushion.
A 6-hour day, I think. Everything we did could have been done in 6 hours, but instead, we just dragged it out.
So, Parth, you'll remember at the last show we did, friend off the show, Anthony Graceffo, was sort of seriously being like, drones is my life now. Like, I gotta get another drone show and then another, and then we were sort of started to make fun of him. And I think you should break into the producing drone show. I mean, you're seeing all the angles now.
Mm-hmm.
You did one, and you already can turn this business upside down.
Well, I guess I'm always trying to turn the podcasting business upside down with our cool interviews, and the only way to get to those interviews is to cue the intro. Welcome back to Craft Services, where we talk about the movies. Each week we talk about a film and hopefully have a crew member of that film to talk with us about their experience working on the picture. This week, who do we have, Trent?
This week we're talking to the Monkeys editors, 2, plural, multiple editors, Greg Ing and Graham Fortin, who edited Osgood Perkins' The Monkey, in addition to Osgood Perkins' Longlegs, as you'll remember from the hit sensation of last year.
Let me in now.
I didn't see Longlegs, but I hear
Cage does that in the
I hear
movie.
it's really, really good.
It's really good.
And I enjoyed The Monkey, and I enjoyed this conversation with the Monkeys editors, 2, plural, both of them. We got them both, guys, at the same time. And they were together, and Parth and I were separate.
Yeah, I think I'd maybe just reached out to Graham's agent or something, or publicist. But then it turns out that both of them were repped by the same guy, and he was like, well, do you want to interview both? And I was like, hey, that's twice as good.
One know it's better than one monkey editor? 2 monkey editors.
To
The monkey editors.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, but no, these guys were great. They were super cool. They, I guess, are friends in real life. For real. Because they recorded together. They were in the same room, which both of Trent and I were like, whoa, not expecting that.
I think that was the first time that's ever happened in any capacity, really.
You and I have recorded in the same room.
And we've only had, this is only our second time interviewing multiple people at once. The first one being the Scott Pilgrim storyboard artists, I think, where they were in their own independent office spaces.
No, this one's going real back. The Trial of the Chicago 7 casting directors.
Parth, you son of a bitch. Were they together?
No, they weren't together, but they were.
That was
there
2
were
people
multiple
at once.
People.
Okay.
This is the first time that we've interviewed multiple people and they've been in the same room. It's great for me. It's less editing work.
Good memory there, Parth. But we could talk about...
How could I forget the Trial of the Chicago 7?
I was just going to say, we could sit here and talk and gab about the Trial of the Chicago 7 all day. Parth, you know I'd be happy to. We've done it before, we'll do it again. But now's not really the time for that.
No.
Don't you agree?
I agree.
I think now is the time to... Here, let me bang the drum like the monkey would do. And then sort of like...
And then I'll die.
And then you'll die, and then the film projector noise will come in.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to our interview with Greg Ing and Graham Fortin. Together, they edited last year's Longlegs and edited our film for today, Osgood Perkins' The Monkey. Thank you so much for being with us today.
Thanks for having us. Thank you.
Yeah, so just to start off, do you think you could both speak briefly about how and when you decided that you wanted to become editors? And maybe, Greg, you could go first?
Sure. I have a bit of a one-track sort of story. Like when I was a kid, I always wanted to make the video project and never write the essay. And I was keen to always shoot something. And then I would be like, well, how do I put this together? And back in my day, we used VHS and VCRs to do a tape-to-tape edit. And I was like, this is amazing. And my dad had a little Radio Shack mixer that I was able to use to like lay down some music, and putting music to some footage that I had shot when I was a kid was an epiphany. Like, oh my God, I could feel all these feelings. And so I'd put like the Imperial March from Star Wars onto everything that I was editing. And it just felt so thick. I basically I wanted to remake Star Wars when I was young, and went to film school to figure out how to make Empire Strikes Back. That's kind of my story. And I was always falling into the editing thing because I loved that whole process, being like close to the end and tinkering with emotions and all that good stuff.
I mean, I started off making little movies with my camcorder as a kid, and then I was lucky enough to be able to take some journalism and film classes in high school. And there was a moment where I was editing something in high school on like a really old system called a Casablanca, which was like, I think 2 VCRs. And anyway, I was putting something together and I made like a match cut, and I was with someone and I went, ooh. And then they went, ooh. And then I was like, I like this feeling. I will continue to pursue this feeling. So that was kind of how I got into it.
The Casablanca.
I don't know if it exists. Well, I'm sure you can buy it somewhere.
So you guys also co-edited Osgood Perkins' Longlegs. Can you talk about how, I guess not only you guys became co-editors, but also how that film came your way?
It kind of all goes back to a relationship with Chris Ferguson, one of the producers on Longlegs, The Monkey, and numerous other projects. But Greg and I also worked on a film called Afflicted, which it came out in 2013. And I was assisting for Greg back then, and it was like kind of the first big feature film that I worked on, at least. And, very scrappy independent film. We all went to Europe to go shoot it for a couple of months, which was a lot of fun. And then we came back a year later. But through that connection with Chris Ferguson is how I got involved with Longlegs and all the Oz projects.
Yeah, our little film community started making like short films together for like a 24-hour or 48-hour, one of those things, and then started making longer form projects, and everyone kind of grew up together, and all the friends that were making short horror movies started making features, and that's kind of how we came to this one. I think Oz was we're in Vancouver, Canada, and Oz came to Vancouver, I think, to do some pickups for Gretel and Hansel, and really liked working with the producer, that our friend Chris, and he liked Vancouver. And so when it came time to do Longlegs, I think Chris heavily recommended us, and we were very fortunate that Oz was like, yeah, those guys sound cool, let's work with them. So it's I think with a lot of editing projects, it's kind of like an arranged marriage where there wasn't really an interview. I remember I came by, Graham was already working on the thing, and I came by to like say hello, and it was very awkward because I was like, here's this guy, he's directing this movie, we haven't met, I want to talk about the movie, when do I speak, does he like what I'm saying? But after that initial hump, Oz is very charming and easy to get along with, so I think we all gelled very nicely.
Yeah.
Was the movie filmed in Canada?
Yes. Yeah.
And were you on set?
Most of the time, no. I popped by a couple times, but generally speaking, during production, we'll put together things and send it to Oz so he can take a look at it if he has a moment on Frame.io or, one of those kind of sites. But yeah, generally lurk in the shadows.
Yeah, never go to set.
Are you like doing the dailies, or did the whole process start after wrap or something?
It starts during production. So from day one, we're in it. And ideally, there's even a little bit of prep time, depending on what's going on.
Yeah, ideally, you get some prep time going on. But it's the grind. Yeah, doing dailies is very important. You got to be there when they're shooting to catch all the things that are going on.
And did you get any of your much needed prep time for this? And what are you usually doing in your prep time?
Usually, like, prep involves reading the script. Oz will sort of come have like a list of movies that are like comparable kind of movies to watch, or movies that he likes or is inspired by. They'll have like a Spotify or playlist or something of like music tracks to, we'd sort of watch the reference movies, download some soundtracks, get the songs. He's really into Bob Dylan for The Monkey. At one point, Dylan's song in it. And then the Bob Dylan movie came out and the song came out. But yeah, I mean, like that. If there's previs for visual effects, that becomes a thing. Like you want to know what's going on.
Yeah.
Talking to the visual effects producer to figure out what's going on with that. Yeah, there seems to be there's usually a lot of meetings that we'd like to be a part of, but also be as distant as possible to be completely unbiased by everyone's experience.
I do remember one of the first things Oz said to me, like you've just during Long Legs, even he called me and he's like, you know what you're doing, so here's some references, but totally go for it. So there's also a lot of trust, which is wonderful.
Here's the trailer to A Complete Unknown.
What were some of the references, if you remember?
For the monkey, I think we were talking about, there was Gremlins was a big one. Death Becomes Her, which is a movie. And what else was there?
He would always say Zemeckis on acid was kind of the tone for the monkey.
How quick was the turnaround from Long Legs into the monkey?
Well, let's see. I mean, we finished Long Legs, and what was it? What year is it?
Summer? Yeah.
That was 2023. We finished it, and finished, I think, around August, September, maybe.
Yeah.
And then there was the strikes, so they decided to shoot a small non-union movie in between to kind of, I guess, keep everybody on their toes. And not to get bored, so they shot a movie called Keeper, which will be coming out in October this year, if all goes according to plan.
Mm-hmm.
And then as soon as that movie finished shooting, then the strikes ended, and Monkey went into prep.
Yeah.
Graham was swept from Keeper straight into Monkey.
Yeah, it was like bang bang. So. It was kind of a crazy time. Very fast. Very unusual. Probably will never happen again.
Yeah, because I guess the funny thing with all this is that then Monkey was shooting, and then as Monkey finished shooting, there was some editing, and then Long Legs came out, and that changed a lot of things. It was a pretty big deal for all of us, and when it came out, and none of us were kind of expecting it to be as I don't know. As big of a deal as it turned out to be. So that's definitely, I mean, we had a little hiatus when Long Legs came out to go to the premiere. And then I remember, coming back from the premiere and being like, that was crazy. There's people dressed up as the characters coming to the they hadn't even seen yet. There was a guy in the audience who had like creepy dolls. Like, I think he had a seat for his creepy doll. I don't like, people were kind of going crazy for it. And then when we came back to finish the monkey, it was like that somehow was like, now like we had this sort of big shoes to fill. Like, we have this movie is coming out making this kind of silly comedy, but now there's an expectation of delivering a movie of the sort of quality and atmosphere of Long Legs. So that became a bit of a sort of the challenge of the movie is like, how do we balance this as the follow-up movie, which is each movie should be judged by its own standards. Like, this is not that, it's not Long Legs 2, but obviously there's an expectation coming into it when you see Oz Perkins' name attached to the show. You're going to be like, well, he did that thing. Going to be that thing, but different with a monkey. And obviously it's quite different. It's very silly in the most loving sort of way. Yeah, I remember Oz was saying at some point in time when people were like, should it be more scary? Is it too funny? If it's too funny, that's not scary enough. And at one point Oz was like, I just want to, if the movie fails or because it's too crazy or whatever, at least I want to know that it failed, doing what I wanted to try and with integrity behind it. And so right on, let's go for it. Make the silliest kind of most ridiculous movie and see how it's received. So anyways, that's me rambling for a bit.
So we were talking about the tone. There's a lot of laughs in this movie, and then also probably 15 or 20 people gruesomely die. So I really love the place you landed. Can you talk about sort of finding that in the edit?
Yeah, I mean, that was the biggest challenge of the movie is finding that tone. Like, how silly can you get, and how dramatic? Because there's, we're talking, Graham and I were talking earlier about there's a lot of father and son moments in the movie that are pretty genuine, just straight up kind of drama. Like, there's comedy in them, but there's father yelling at his son, and they have like issues, and there's this adoption thing, and it's kind of heavy stuff. But we were saying, like, if everything is a joke, then nothing really kind of matters. So I think some of the things that we're struggling with was like, oh, we have another father-son scene where they're sitting in the car talking about their interpersonal relationship. It's kind of boring. Like, can we hurry it up? But you kind of need those things so that you care about the characters, so that when something funny or horrific happens, like, it matters. If we just sort of skipped over those dramatic scenes or got through them as quickly as possible, then you'd just be waiting for a joke, and maybe you wouldn't care when someone's head blew up. But I think that was one of the the big struggles, was like, how much of that serious stuff do we have with all this other silly, ridiculous things? Because the movie wasn't just a series of gags. There is a story to it, kind of, silly brotherly reconciliation that happens at the end, which, is kind of moving and it's really stupid at the same time. So, yeah, that was a very tricky one to navigate.
Also, like, I noticed you have a Parasite poster in the background, which is great. And, like, that's a movie that juggles a lot of different tones, too. And you kind of wonders, like, do movies always have to fit into the box of whatever they're supposed to be sold to you as? And we were talking earlier, too. It's like Longlegs is like a horror movie. It's a thriller. It's an investigation movie. There's supernatural elements to it. There's dry comedy in it, too. But we're also talking about, Hitchcock movies always deal with a bunch of different kind of tones and genres in one piece, too. It's a spy movie. There's some comedy, drama, romance, I don't know if a movie always has to fit into a specific.
Yeah, does an action movie need to be all action all the way through? It's kind of bold when you're watching a movie and you be like, oh, I thought this was a funny movie, and now I'm emotionally moved. Like, if you can achieve that, that's kind of, I feel like, a sign of success. Like, if when at the end of the movie, whenever the brothers are reconciling and you feel something and laugh at the same time, like, that's kind of fun. But it's tricky because as you watch things when you're editing, you see it again and again and again, like, sometimes those feelings fade a little bit, or the joke isn't as funny, or you have to kind of trust how you felt the first time you saw it, and remember that when someone is experiencing it for the first time, may not be necessarily a long scene with the father and son, because they're experiencing it for the first time. We always have to go back to, like, how did you feel the first time, or watch it with some fresh eyes, or sit in a different chair, or watch it on your laptop at home instead of in the edit suite without a keyboard that you can touch. Like, watch the export so that you can't just suddenly change something. Anything you can do to kind of change your perspective and stay fresh.
Was there ever a time where you changed a scene that was meant to be funny and made it scary, or like more serious, or or inverted?
I mean, the order of things definitely changed, which impacted things.
One thing that comes to mind is there was the scene where the monkey comes back. And that scene went through many iterations. And where it landed currently is that it's kind of a weird, creepy scene. But at one point in time, it was funny. There was like a joke, kind of punchline to the whole thing. But then it felt... that scene went through so many iterations, but like where it landed, I think is kind of interesting, because it's kind of like it's in the monkey in the darkness, and it's just zooming in, and you're kind of waiting for the payoff for something, and it doesn't come, which is kind of defies the expectation that something should happen at that point in time. But then it just became like, oh, the monkey just returned, because when I think it was a joke, then the sort of gravity of the monkey maybe was lost in its return. I mean, it's silly to talk about the monkey in such serious terms, because it's so silly, but we had to treat it like a real thing, in the characters' lives and give it some gravity so that it means something. Like, again, like the monkey is a ridiculous thing and hits the drum and someone dies in a ridiculous way. But when we're thinking about it in terms of the characters, we have to be like, well, if they really did see this monkey, how would they feel in this moment? I think in that scene, it had, when it ended with the joke, it's just like, oh, that's kind of taking away from the impact of what the monkey means when it comes back. It is funny to talk about because like we would have very deep discussions about what is this monkey doing here, and then be like, if someone was to listen from the outside about a bunch of grown men talking about a monkey killing, people and heads exploding, it would sound quite silly, and it did. It did sound silly.
It still sounds silly.
It still sounds silly.
What was the joke that was cut out? He's right behind me, isn't he?
I don't know if I should say. Yeah, it's one of those things.
We can keep it a
I'll
secret.
have to wait till the extra deleted scenes come out. But I did try a few things that were like quite ridiculous in that moment, just to kind of see. And then, I'd love to tell you, but I feel like I shouldn't.
Got it. So it's based on a Stephen King short story. Did you read it? Did you intentionally stay away from it? What was your relationship with that?
I mean, I read it when the project came to us, but aside from that, didn't really stick close to it. And I think Oz has said in interviews too, it's like, he took a lot of liberties with the story and kind of went his own direction. I think originally the piece, or the script at least, was a much darker, kind of more serious horror film, and his take on it was, a very silly, light take on death. You're kind of just really focusing on the footage that comes in every day and, working on that and much the previous iteration.
Yeah, it is a very loose adaptation. Like it's nothing to do with it's adapted. Like it takes the characters and the monkey idea and kind of runs with it from there. But it is, just to go back to the whole thing being kind of silly and talking about Oz and the way that he interprets it. It is kind of a funny thing. Like there is an emotional depth to it that, if you know who Oz is and his history with like the death of his parents in crazy ways, that it somehow does have like an emotional depth to it that becomes apparent when you see like, if you didn't know who Oz was and his history, the movie would be like, oh, that's silly. And it is silly. But when you know that he's a guy that's coming to terms with how death has been in his life and what it means to him, it kind of takes on this extra layer of, I don't know, I'm having a hard time speaking to it, but I hope that people can sort of feel that depth in some way. Like it's a silly movie, but if they can feel the emotional gravity that's in there, and like there's a message, it's very clear. They go to the church, they're in the graveyard, they're talking about it. Hopefully some of that does land, and that depth does give the comedy just a little bit more impact.
Yeah, I think you can also see a lot of Oz in the main characters, of Hal and Bill as adults and probably teenagers. I don't know what he was like as a teen, but there's elements to his real life that come into play once you know about it.
Hey, Parth.
Yo.
yo, homie.
Is that my interview?
Parth, it is. That was part 1 of your interview. And if you enjoyed it, next Sunday, 7 days from now, 5 a.m., set your alarm for 4:45 so you're ready. Get a cup of coffee, an English muffin, so your brain has and a piece of fruit, so your brain has some glucose.
Right.
So you're in really a good headspace to hear what Parth and I's informed opinions about the evolving state of cinema and politics and our bodies. These things are all changing, and we're going to talk to you about it week after week. Parth's in space, I'm in Hawaii, but the distance can't keep us apart from connecting.
Thank you so much to Greg Ng and Graham Fortin for coming on the show. It was a real pleasure to talk to you. Thank you to Jackson Vickery, their PR guy that helped set this all up. If you liked this interview, I got good news for you.
Yeah.
There's an even better one, a part 2, coming out next week. And where is it coming out next week?
You got Spotify, you got Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, frankly, wherever you get your podcasts. And then just for updates, just to stay updated, Instagram, Twitter.
Those two.
Those two, nowhere else for right now.
Next week is the Monkey interview, part 2. Looking forward to that. And as we mentioned in our intro, we interviewed somebody yesterday. So next week, you'll get to know who that was.
Yeah, if you asked us 24 hours ago, we would be like, fuck, we don't really have an episode lined up. But after the events of last night, we can talk like we have a whole spreadsheet going.
And anytime I have been like, yep, we've got an interview queued up that we haven't done yet, but it's for sure to go, every time something has gone wrong. So
it's like the monkey is like in your life banging his drum, making all of our interview guests die right before their scheduled interview. And then their agents are just like, Parth, something's going around LA. They can't make it. Talk soon. And then you just hear a drum from your closet. It's the monkey, Parth. It's the monkey interview with editors.
Trent, are you monkey pilled?
I was monkey pilled before seeing the monkey, and then after seeing the monkey, I'm on double dosage.
Oh yeah,
every morning. You with your allergy pill, me with my monkey pill.
Well, yeah, that sounds good. That sounds good.
Parth, this is where I want to end. I got nothing more to say after this.
I'm both
tapped
worked long
out.
days yesterday. We got up early to do this.
No, I'm like that has an effect, but I'm saying the monkey's got me in a stranglehold.
Oh yeah,
I have to go do his bidding after this, so I have to I have to save my energy. I wish the people at home could see your face,
but I did the smile that the monkey does.
I'll save that just for me. See, that's what you get when you do 220 episodes of the pod. After 220, you get rewarded with a gem like that.
Okay, that the listener can't see.
All the podcasts I listen to are converting to having a video element. TikTok. When's craft services going to do it? You know.
Well,
they want to see you drifting through space. They want it. No, Parth! No! Parth's drifting away! No!
I'm back.
Oh.
Yeah. All right, but actually, we're both gonna leave now. Let's close up shop. See you guys next week.
Bye-bye.